Well, before I do this major overhaul upgrade of my video content, which recently, if you don't know, a lot of good things has happened. So that'll mean after the course of like 4 or 5 days, I'll be able to have a little bit more time into dedication into my videos, which hopefully will upgrade the quality and content of the video. Hopefully. Now let's begin. The downfall of mgtow. Now, I do believe that mgtow is a growing movement, for starters, because it's going mainstream. More and more people are adopting the mgtow philosophy and certainly that way of life. And the biggest downfall that I could imagine what mgtow would undergo would be from one of three options. Either mgtow truly does fall from infighting, because I've noticed that, unlike the skeptical community, or if you call it that, or whatever the case, atheist community, gamer community, whatever, of all those communities, they have no problem going after one of each other. And yet, when one mgtow goes crazy, it's harder for the mgtows suddenly to go against that one mgtow. That's going to naturally create a lot more possibility of a major infighting, kind of like a civil war, the way I imagine it. It's like eventually there will come a time when one mgtow does something so bad, so extreme, that it will basically split the whole mgtow community into two parts. Then at that point, you won't even have mgtow sort of presence on YouTube, because two of them will basically split from each other, and you will have one form of mgtow versus the other, and it won't be the same. And it will certainly get a lot of people to leave mgtow because there are some people that actually do want to be in the mgtow community just for being in the community, also for living that lifestyle. And when that civil war breaks out eventually, it's going to be a very heartbreaking thing for those people. Now, the second way of how mgtow is eventually going to, fall or collapse is quite possibly when society actually fixes itself. What I mean about this is strictly from the court system. Like, hypothetically, what if the men's rights movements basically actually won, and they actually fixed the court systems completely, and also with the new introduction of, say, men's rights women advocates, basically women within the men's rights movement, then they suddenly start seeing these female problems that contributes to all these problems, and they suddenly start fixing themselves. I don't think mgtow would survive in that kind of environment where you have a situation where it's fixing itself in a sense. And any movements, it doesn't matter how big or small, once when the main enemy is gone or being taken care of, the only way for that movement or community to survive is if it creates new enemies and eventually either starts heating itself up, either that or the movement in itself will go batshit crazy. This is what happened with feminism. After women got the right to vote, after a while there were a few other cases that needed feminism, but after that point, the whole feminism thing turned crazy once when there was no problem anymore. There was no boogeyman to tackle against, so eventually feminism just went downright crazy. And I see the same thing happening to the mgtow community eventually. The third possibility of how the mgtow community could hypothetically fall is if, hypothetically speaking, let's say the community gets invaded by the sjws.
Stop! Sorry, Elmo, I can't stop at the stop sign right now. I'm busy looking for an octagon. Stop! Okay, Elmo, I see the stop sign, but I have to find an octagon. If I stop, how can I find an octagon? How, Elmo? How?
Stop!
Wait a minute! Look! The stop sign has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 glorious sides, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stunning angles. This stop sign is an octagon. We found an octagon. Octagon.
Now, at first, you're probably thinking to yourself, that's kind of an impossibility because, well, MGTOWs generally are against the SJW types. Well, I would agree with you there. However, recently I found a MGTOW that it has very much SJW tendencies, especially when he declares that shapes are somehow genders. Wow, that's more like SJW. But still, granted, this guy could be a troll, could be not, but the mere presence of people like him is starting to tell me that the SJWs not only know about the MGTOW community, but it kind of seems like they have already begun the process of trying to hijack the MGTOW community. Granted, I doubt that will go well for the SJWs, but there is a possibility that the SJWs may get their way if they give it enough time. If they get the bigger MGTOWs to basically wear them down to the point where one of them turns SJW, which I doubt that'll ever happen. It's the least likely possibility. Personally, with me, I think eventually society will start seeing MGTOWs as extremists, and from that point on, they'll start trying to argue and debate the MGTOWs, and some of the MGTOWs that are extremists will eventually either lash out and or go crazy and will create cults within their own circles and eventually start more infighting. That's my personal idea of how would the MGTOW community would fall if that happened, which I believe it will happen. It's just a matter of time, usually. For all great communities, no matter how big or small they start, no matter how much they're loved, once when a community is born, there is an end date. And I'm already starting to see the signs of an end date for the MGTOW community. It may not be now. It'll probably be a long time from now. Probably 4 or 5 years, maybe, possibly maybe even 7, who knows. But whenever there's a community that starts, it will eventually fall, as the nature of all communities.